So now let's talk about what we need to do to get this thesis done. First thing, start early. Do you have to wait to enroll in Thesis 688A to get started on your thesis? No. No. I would encourage you all to begin keeping a folder right now, no matter where you are in your matriculation. Whether it's an electronic folder or whether it's a physical folder, you come across articles that you're interested in, you come across links that you're interested in, start dropping them in the folder. If you email them to yourself and open up a folder in your email with Thesis and just send everything there. This way, you have this framework and you go visit it every now and again. You say, oh, this is pretty interesting. I wonder what other research exists about this. And then you get to a class and you get to write any kind of paper you want. And professor tells you, choose your topic, here are the guidelines. Oh, I got this thing I may be interested in for my thesis. Why don't I spend this time just doing a little bit of research to write this paper on it, and then maybe I'll continue in that direction, or maybe I'll determine I don't want to do this at all. Kind of like my internship junior year in college. I was a biology major and I wanted to be a medical doctor. Had an internship at a hospital. It was awful. I was like, oh, at least I'm glad I know this is not what I want to do. And so getting the information early helps you to learn, are you on the track that you want to be on? Do you have enough passion for the topic that you're looking at to sustain you through the entire thesis process? And so starting early, begin by recording ideas in a notebook. Choose writing assignments that can serve as a basis for your thesis or complement your thesis goal. Strategize and develop a research stream. Using research papers you've completed, you can define your research interests and extend your work into a possible thesis topic. Utilize library resources either through Pacific Oaks or the local library. There are so many resources that can support your efforts at completing them. Here's the thing. You got to go out and get them. Thesis support just doesn't come knocking at your door. I mean, unless this email counts as that, where it did just kind of come to you. So I guess that's different. But more often than not, you have to go out there and you have to seek information. You have to be a champion for your education. Choose your topic wisely. Remember these 3 words: focus, focus, focus. Restrict your research problem and choose a manageable topic. While your thesis will be a huge and hopefully important project, it should not take you a lifetime to complete. This is not your life's work. Your thesis is not Gandhi's book or Desmond Tutu. It's not. It's not. Work with your chair to help you narrow your topics so you don't remain in graduate school for 20 years. Choose a topic you love and are passionate about. Even the topic you love will be met with disdain at some point during the process. Choosing something you are passionate about will make it easier to avoid procrastination. And so pay attention to that as you move throughout your process. Pay attention to what kind of lights your fire. You read something in a class, or you have an assignment or a chapter in a book, and you're like, oh, I never thought about that. That is really an awesome chapter. I'd like to learn more about that. I'd like to dig a little bit deeper on that. Now, one of the major keys that we're also talking about here in choosing your topic is making sure it's manageable. Some people try to save the world in one fell swoop, and it's not going to work. I'm going to do my thesis on how to save Aborigines throughout the entire world every day of my life for the next 25 centuries. What? We want to choose a topic that fits within a framework of time and space that we as individuals can complete. That's not minimizing what you do. That's just saying, instead of choosing something that's very broad, I'm going to choose something that's relatively narrow, and I am going to dig in. I am going to go deep. I'm going to identify all the factors that make this work important. And I'm going to demonstrate my own originality and my own voice as I explore this topic. That's what's critical. Use your chair effectively. Now, everybody who is a thesis chair has either done a thesis or a dissertation. So they've been there already, right? Does that make sense to everybody? You can't be core faculty unless you have a master's or a PhD or a JD or EDD or some sort of D. And if you got the D or the M, that means you finished that. And so if I know that I have access to somebody who's already done what I've done before, I'm going to try to take advantage of utilizing that person so that I can get what I need to get done. A lot of people go to their class and they don't utilize their professor, their instructor, their chair effectively enough. And then they go and they do all this work and they come and say, look how great I am. I'm like, not so great. But had you come to me 3 months ago, I could have supported this direction and you would not have done all this work that's not approvable. And it's not that your idea may be bad, it's just that maybe your research is 13 years old. You can't write a paper on neuroscience with research from 2001. Feedback is a gift. Feedback is a gift, right? And so when we're sitting in front of someone and they're saying, you know, I think this is an awesome idea, this population you want to interview, this group of people who you want to help support healing for, but you know what? There's a lot of research that exists that says this already, and I'm not quite sure if the direction that you're going in is so original. What if you thought about this? What if you added this? What if you went and researched this article? Or, you know, I'm looking and there's some real grammar stuff going on here, and I really need you to kind of work a little bit harder on your writing, and maybe we should email Francesca and you can make an appointment with Francesca because there's some things here that I really need you to check in on. Now, some people may have even just now had a visceral reaction to that and they're not even really experiencing it, right? So we know what it could actually feel like right in that room, right in that space. But here's the thing. You're in school. The whole purpose of being in school is for somebody to help me understand where my gaps in knowledge and performance are so that I can generate behaviors and activities that demonstrate my acquirement of the knowledge and information. And if you sit there with your instructor or your chair and they're providing you with constructive feedback as well as suggestions to make it work a little bit better or to make it more efficient or more effective, a chair is not going to tell you you can't do this because they're opposed to the framework that you're doing or the idea you have. I may not agree with what you want to do at all. My job is not to agree with it. My job is to help you produce a project that is viable, that has originality, that shares your voice, and that demonstrates a level of expertise. And so you want to sit there and you want to pay attention to your experience as you receive feedback because this is going to be a long process of receiving feedback. And I think another really great point about that question is that that may be part of the reason why people don't access their chairs as often as they should because they're afraid of going into such a big project and not being able to complete it. Let's be very clear here, guys. As I look throughout this room, there's a lot of people here who have been told that they don't belong in higher education. I'm one of them, right? Black dude, born and raised in a housing project. Oh, what are you doing? So a lot of us have gotten messages about our presence in higher education. Whether you're a woman, whether you're a person of color, whatever it is, you've been told in some ways by the environment that you are not supposed to be here. And that plays a role in this too. If I already feel this anxiety on approach, and now you want me to complete this big project and you want to tell me I'm not good enough? Oh no, never mind, I'm gone. So you want to pay attention to that too, because that's a part of the approach. That's a part of the vulnerability of transformation. And that's what you want to pay attention to. And so use your chair effectively. Be sure to engage your chair, engage your professor, and help them understand your vision so that they can provide you with the highest degree of support possible. Keep copies of everything. Do I need to say that again? Keep copies of every, I don't know why I needed to say it like that again, but keep copies of everything. We back up our data on sticky notes because sticky notes never crash. Do not use sticky notes. But keep copies of everything. Store copies of your chapters in several places, such as a flash drive or an external hard drive, email folder, cloud, Google Docs, Dropbox. There's so many places where you can electronically store stuff now. You don't have an excuse to not have it. Even keep old copies in case you were asked to add a section that was previously removed. So you're in the middle of your thesis process and you and your chair decide, you know what? This piece right here on adolescence is not as relevant, and so why don't you just take that out? And you delete it, right? And it's gone. And then 2 weeks later, you found this really great article that provides really great information on this connection between adolescence and whatever it is you're talking about, and it's just gone. You don't have it. I just finished a book chapter last year, and I would every night I finished working on that book chapter, I emailed it to myself. Just because. I didn't know I was going to wake up the next morning and my computer was going to die or explode or my 6-year-old son was going to knock it off. I didn't know what was going to happen. But what I knew is that I had been up till 2 a.m. the night before and I was not going to wake up to it being gone. It was on my flash drive. I emailed it to myself from one account to another account. So it was in the sent account on my Gmail and in my inbox in my PO account. 2 email accounts. So you have to back this up. You have to save it. You have to do your best to keep all your information handy. Don't hesitate to ask for help. This is what you are here for. Don't hesitate to ask for help, ask for support. Completing this thesis process can be an uphill battle. Finding support is critical. Don't wait until the last minute. You know your deadline. I wish I would have put that in bold. You know your deadline. It is clearly articulated in the academic calendar every semester the date in which your thesis is due to be submitted to the library with all 3 signatures. It's a very clear date and a very clear deadline. It is not movable. It is not flexible. We have a worker right here, a student worker in the library. Kelsey, don't play. I'm going to get a t-shirt that says, Kelsey, don't play. She's a librarian. These things have to happen for various reasons. Part of that reason is if you want your degree conferred on time, your thesis needs to go through several spaces before it's submitted to the registrar as complete. And the deadline of thesis submission is based on the backup of when you want your degree conferred. If you want to go into a PhD program or a doctoral program, or you want a job that says you have to have your master's degree, we want to be able to get that conferred on time. People sometimes confuse graduation with graduating. Those are 2 very different things. Graduation is, because you know when you get that in your hand, there's nothing in there right now, right? That'll be coming to you later in the mail. Degree conferral. Degree conferral. That's when you have completed. Some people walk across the stage and still have to come back for classes, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why the policy exists, for you to be able to do it. But don't get it twisted. That is not graduation. It's a graduation, but you haven't had your degree conferred. And we have somebody in the registrar's office right here. It's not conferred. It's not done. Just do it. The most effective way to do it is to do it. That's the most effective way to get it done. Just knock it out. Just knock it out. There are going to be days when you're sitting there, you're not going to feel up to it. You're not going to feel like writing. You're not going to feel like doing what it is that you need to do to make this work happen. But I promise you, the pride of completing this document is so fulfilling. The pride associated with the magnitude of work that you've done, and to hand that in is a really awesome feeling. And so I'd invite you all to do what you need to do so that you can experience that as well.